So let's talk a little bit about money this afternoon. Yeah. So my uncle told me something when I started out new in my business. He said, money is like a child that must be nurtured. Once it enters your hand, you nurture it to grow. If you don't nurture it to grow, it will just disappear. Now, I watched some interview some years ago, like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, about where Dangote was interviewed and he was asked a question. He said, what was his what was the most expensive stuff he has ever bought for himself? He said it was a private jet that was worth about $50 million. And interestingly, when I did my little maths, that $50 million as at that time was about 0.25% of his net worth. 0.25%. That is 1/4% of his net worth. And I dug further, I found out that the most expensive jet as at that time was about $500 million. And I could have comfortably afforded to buy a $500 million worth of jet. If he had bought it, that would have been about 25% of his net worth. But guess what? He chose to buy a $50 million worth. So my question to you is, what is the most expensive stuff you've ever bought yourself? And compare that percentage-wise to your net worth. Some of us may have like $100 million in our account, and the next thing that comes to our mind, and that's our net worth, comes to our mind is that to buy a car of 50 million naira. Yes, some of us, what you have in your account, the big breakthrough you have now is about 50 million naira, 100 million naira. But by the time I calculate what you have done with your money, find out that you have spent almost about 50 to 60, 70% of that your net worth in acquiring something that is not going to generate money. And you start wondering what is happening to your finance. Money must be treated with care. It must be treated with care. So you see, the people say the Jews are very rich, but there's a fundamental reason, secret, why the Jews are very, very successful. And what is that? For every dollar that enters the hand of a Jewish man, he makes sure that before that dollar leaves him, that dollar brings in $6 additional. Bring it home. For every 1,000 naira that enters the hand of a Jewish man, he makes sure that before he spends that 1,000 naira, that 1,000 naira brings in 6,000 naira before he can start splurging. Ask yourself that question. How are you treating the money that's in your hand? How are you treating money that's coming into your hand? There's no room to say that you can never save. There's no thing, no excuse on earth. Bills might be piling up, right? But I tell you that most of those bills can be done without. We can do without them.